What's going on, YouTube fam? This is your boy J Money here, bringing you guys a top 5 list regarding sleeper decks that you should likely have, pick up, or what to play for the September 2018 format. Now, as we all know, goukis are still a thing. But that's not why this format is so vastly different than the last one. What else do we have besides the one gouki? We got Altergeist, Trickstars, True Dracos, Sky Strikers, and I'm including heroes in this list because, yeah, who cares if Strauss came back? The fact that Darklaw by itself just shits all over Dracos and Sky Strikers will end up probably taking you up a notch. Even though a Hero Lives did get limited, which is a very, very big deal. People don't realize just how big of a deal that getting limited really is. I guess to start playing it, the deck over time. But anyway, these sleeper decks I picked, you have to play some decks that are just suited to just combat all these back rows, all these floodgates, and all that good stuff. It took a while for me to find some viable strategies because goukis are still a thing as well. You know, I wanted something that had a fairly decent matchup against that deck as well. So, with that being said, here you go. I give you guys top 5 sleeper decks of September 2018 format. Number 5, Pendulums. Yep, Pendulums. Even though Electromite did get limited, Pendulums, as a mechanic, is inherently broken and it is inherently strong against back row heavy based decks, which gives it a very good advantage. Not only that, but floodgates such as Goza Match and Rivalry don't really do too much against the deck because when it comes to Pendulums, a majority of their cards are dark and the majority of their cards are spellcaster. Besides the obvious Electromite and all that good stuff, and generally people won't flip those cards over until you've already committed to the field and all that stuff. So if you are sensing it goes in or Rivalry, just Pendulum summon a bunch of dark spellcasters, and you'll be good to go. The deck is, like I said, it's resilient against back row heavy strategies, against Sky Strikers. It doesn't really matter if your opponent has Widow Anchors and multiples and all that good stuff. If you just Pendulum summon a board full of big beefy monsters and just go for game, well, there you go. So, Pendulums looking really solid even with one Electromite. Especially if you want to do the new game plan, all one card interruptions. So, there's that option. Number 4. Burning Abyss. Yes, sir. Burning Abyss. Ooh, we all love this deck. That is, it's again another deck that is really resilient against back row. Really resilient against back row heavy decks and all that good stuff. And hold on. Sorry about that, guys. As I was saying, Burning Abyss is another deck that is incredibly resilient against back row. The only thing it really seems to struggle against is things like Ghost Match, Rivalry, or Warlords, things like that, because Dante and the Burning Abyss monsters are all different types of attributes, like Warrior versus Dark Fiend. Go figure. However, the deck, again, it's very strong against back row. It is one of the most grindy decks of all time. The only deck that seems to even match it in terms of the grind potential is Sky Strikers and or Altergeist, depending on what kind of build they're playing. If they're playing Queries, then yeah. But anyway, Burning Abyss, I like it as a pick simply for the fact that there's a lot you can do with Burning Abyss. You don't have to just play a Lighty Sec of Burning Abyss. I honestly think that build isn't going to do too much this format because of all the back row. Last format, oh yeah, there's lots of spells running around. Yes, but now it's going to be just back like trap cards, floodgates, and all that stuff. So you have to change it up. You might want to main deck Twin Twisters and all that. Hell, yesterday I played a Fluffle Dino Danger build of BA, and that was just absolutely fantastic because literally the entire deck was just meant to just go through the entire deck and do good stuff and all the good stuff. So anyway, I like Burning Abyss for its flexibility to adjust to the format. Trick Size isn't the only deck that can adjust, you know. Number 3, we have Kosmos. Dr. Destroyer went to 2. That doesn't really take it to new levels, but it's more of the fact that now that Cosmo Dark Destroyer's at 2, they can consistently get even more untargetable ships onto the board. Remember, targeting is made good again because Nightmare Goblin got banned. So the deck is incredibly resilient against not only backrow, but it's incredibly resilient against decks like Sky Strikers that play Widow Anchors, decks that play Infinite Permanence, Altergeist, things like that. They can't target, they can't Miluseek, they can't Siliquitus. There's like, it's such a big deal to a lot of these decks, and not only that, but against heavy backrow decks, I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, you can trap them, and they can even play around Goes Match and Rivalry. Those old rulings back when Kosmos were one of the best decks, you can have a Rivalry or Goes on board, and you can still use your pilots to banish as cost and drop a ship on the board. And it could probably be a slip run, and you'll probably just break their Goes in their Rivalry anyway. That's the other thing. It's really good at playing around floodgates, which is why I love it so much. There's so many good things going for it right now because of the kind of format we're in, because of all the back row. And even if these back row are actually incredibly disruptive, the ships just float and just bust out even more Kosmos. So Kosmos is looking really solid. And even against a deck like Gouki's, I mean, if you've seen their board, they can't really do anything against a Dark Destroyer unless they main deck Boral Sword Dragon and or Borload and all that good stuff, which they might have space for now that Goblin is kind of banned and they freed up Invoker, so no need for Instant Fusion maybe? Maybe they still play Instant Fusion, but regardless, Kosmos, nice pick. Number 2, we have Crusadians. Crusadians is an incredibly strong OTK based deck and all that good stuff. But in this format, I might actually want to put it even lower on the totem pole in terms of sleeper deck, because even though it was one of the best rogue decks last format, this format it might be a little different because Crusadians do struggle against trap cards. Even though there is a card such as Crusadia Power, which is essentially Forbidden Lance for any Crusadia monster you choose to target, the fact remains is 9 times out of 10 you're probably using power on either your Magius or your Regulex so you can get to your Equimax, if that makes any sense. So Equimax may not be available for your power because power is once per turn as well, keep that in mind. So they do struggle against back row, they struggle against Droll and Lockbird, even though they only need to search like 3 times. Those searches are incredibly important. Not only that, but since you lost Sky Striker Horner Drones, you might have to move from the Sky Striker package to the Mech Knight package, which makes you even more vulnerable to Droll Lockbird. So it might actually be even lower on the totem pole. But nonetheless, it is still a great deck that can play multiple Kaijus and put so much damage on the board effortlessly, as long as there's too many interruptions. Not only that, but the deck can go first very easily, putting up at least 2 interruptions with Equimax and a Vanguard for a pop and a negate. But if you open Rescue Cap, then you have 3 negates in the form of a Nat Beast on top of it all. So I see Crusadians as still is a pretty nice option nonetheless. Number 1, we have Cyber Dragons. Why is it number 1? Well, because Cyber Dragons love to go against back row. They love to just summon Rampage Dragon, pop 5 back row, and go for a game. Yeah, so I don't see Droll Lockbird being too much of an issue, simply for the fact that if I am right, and there is all these back row decks being played, Droll Lockbird may lose value. Because you will have very many options to actually use the said Droll and take full advantage of it in the end of your opponent's turn and all that good stuff. So that might pave the way for Cyber Dragons to do some great things. Not only that, but limiter removal also went to 2. Now, granted, it has always been considered a win more card because by default, if you have your board, you have the damage. However, with all the back row entering the fray, now you may get disrupted to the point to where you may not be able to put up all that stuff onto the field. So limit removal may be an option to just put you over the edge and just get that game and all that good stuff. So with that being said, I say Cyber Dragons is a #1 sleeper pick, simply for the fact that not only is Goukis are still around, so you can easily Mega Fleet in your main deck and synergize with things like Summon Sorceress and all that good stuff, but Rampage Dragon obviously has an amazing time against back row. Being able to blow out more than just 2 back row in this format will be absolutely huge and will be key to the success of Cyber Dragon. So let me know what you guys think about this list, guys. Is there something that you may have thought of that I might have missed? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys very much for watching. This is Jay Money, and I am signing out.